As quick as those things are coming across, I need to come up with something.
It's really kind of nice.
Hold on to it for you. Yeah.
Audra, you had asked about retirement cards.
Yes.
I've got a list. I've got cards. We've been busy this week, but we are going to get on that and have everybody sign one for everybody from this year. So I didn't forget that.
Thank you. But we're not doing it here.
Not tonight.
Okay.
I don't have them ready
A
yet.
special.
Maybe.
Because we'll have one in the next week, right?
Maybe.
We're gonna have it next.
Well, maybe. We're opening bids Thursday.
Next week? Or this
Thursday of this week.
Oh. All right, if I could have everybody's attention, it's 5:31. It's time to start, so I'll call this meeting to order. And welcome everybody. Welcome back to school year, a new school year starting. Seems like the summer went by awful fast, but then boom, here we are.
We are.
Hope all went well in the first couple of days.
Yes.
Sounded like it with Jody in its report, so we'll dive into the new year and celebrations, Mr. Wiggins.
We have some celebrations. Jacob, are you prepared to introduce? Okay. I'll turn the floor over to Jacob Hayward.
Good evening.
Good
I want to thank you all for letting us have this opportunity to come recognize some students and a program that we are very proud of. It's our FCCLA, and this past summer we had some students who had a chance to go compete on a national level. So I'm going to give the floor to Miss Brianna Russell. She's going to share her role in this organization as well as the events that they participated in this over this last summer. So, Ms. Russell.
Hi. Some of y'all might remember me. You came to my room last year and ate pretzel.
We did.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, we did.
Yeah. Okay. Remember me. So this is FCCLA. It stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. It's been around for a very, very long time. It used to be called FHA, Future Homemakers of America. You might remember that one. But it's been FCCLA for quite a while now. We focus on the competition side. Different chapters kind of focus on different aspects because it's a lot. We do community service as well as competing. But these two kids right here, they got to go to nationals, which means they made it from district level to the state level all the way to nationals. They were in the top 2 of every event that they went through. We went to San Diego this summer, which was very fantastic. We got Miss Avery Harrison here. She competed in Promote and Publicize FCCLA, which is all about recruiting more members to help serve our community even more. And then Mr. Simon Weidemeyer back there, he competed in event management. I almost forgot the name. He chose to do his project on, hypothetically, he didn't actually do it, it's not part of the event, but he created an idea for a fundraiser to help the hospital in town, and he planned out this whole big charity event. So you have to say kind of why you chose them and why it's a good part of our community, and then you have to plan every step of the event, the budget, where things are going to go. You had to make a map. It was crazy. It was very, very a good experience. We got to go to lots of different speakers talking about leadership and even more ways to help our community. So if you have any questions for them, you can ask.
How did we do?
I got a bronze, but I'm still very proud of my bronze because I did get to compete, and I'm very excited that I got to compete.
Cool.
At a national level.
We are too.
Yes.
I got a silver award, which was totally unexpected because I thought I would get a bronze like we did.
They worked very hard to get those medals, believe me.
So, quick question on recruitment. How do you recruit more people in?
Well, we held me and my partner held a sucker, like passing out, and we had tags on our suckers. And they said join FCCLA just so we could get the word out there. And if people wanted to join, they would come ask Miss Russell about the stuff that we would do, or they would come and ask us, and we would tell them.
So you actually did a recruitment thing in here at Siloam?
Yes.
How did it go?
It went very well.
Yeah.
We got new members.
About 6, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, really
Good. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think a round of applause is in
Well,
order.
I definitely think so.
We're hoping to go to Colorado this summer, so
There you go.
we gotta get them to keep working on it.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Congratulations, guys. We're proud of you. That's awesome. Mr. Patrick?
Oh, wait, we have one more celebration.
Another celebration?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
We are privileged to have Miss Clarice Cox here tonight from the Arkansas Retired Teachers Association, and she is here to present Parsons Burnett scholarships in the amount of $2,000 each to a couple of our employees who are seeking higher degrees. And so it's a master's program or something similar to that. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Clarice, and she is going to present both. One of our recipients is here, and I'm going to receive the other one in place of.
Trust Mr. Williams with Michael's, and you all check with But before I present to Rose, I want to tell you a little bit about the Arkansas Retired Teachers Association, because most of you look like you're not quite there, but when you do get there, we need you in the organization. The Arkansas Retired Teachers was started in 1939-40 school year, and they had 15 members. And now we have 11,500 plus members, and so it has grown that much. And so we work very hard at protecting the legislative aspect of teachers, both retired and on the road now in the workforce, and also the social and anything pertaining to teachers that comes up economically. Well, the Arkansas Retired Teachers are there defending you and us. And so we work very hard at not going home in the rocking chair after we retire, but keeping busy and doing the promotion of education. And so we give, as Mr. Wiggins said, the scholarship every year. We give $2,000 to 10 recipients. And this year, all over the state of Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas had 5 recipients. So that really says something for the quality of education here in this area of the state. And it also says something for your administration. We know that it begins at the top. The information goes to the superintendent, they hand it down to the building principals, and then they take it from there. But it has to be pushed from the top. And so your administration is very responsible for what's going to happen here tonight. But now we have this young lady, Rachel Coleman. What can I do? And so on behalf of the Arkansas Retired Teachers Association, I'm going to present her $2,000, which is for the Burnett Scholarship. And well, actually, there are 2 names to it. We've added the Parsons. It's the Parsons Burnett Scholarship. And it's called a scholarship, but really it's a grant, because it is from donations that are made in memory of deceased teachers, and then just people who wish to have some money taken from the retirement check. And so, it is, really from donations from retired teachers. And so when you retire, as I said before, remember that because we need you. So at this time, I'm going to ask Rachel to tell you a little bit about how she wants to use her money, and some of you may not know her, so we'll let her introduce herself.
Rachel Colonelli, I'm the new high school counselor. I am finishing up my master's in school counseling, so I'll graduate in December, and this will definitely be put towards tuition. And I also have a 3.5-year-old son and twin 7-month-old daughters, so the purse strings are tight these days, and so it's a huge blessing, and I really appreciate it.
Well, we're glad to send this to you, and as I said, it's $2,000, and it's from the Parsons Burnett Scholarship. So, there you are. Did you get one of her? Yes. Thank you so much.
And the other scholarship is for Michael Smith. And Michael is a coach and PE teacher here at the middle school. And I believe he is pursuing an administration degree. Is that right, Jacob? Okay, and so I am going to accept on Michael's behalf, and I've promised Clarice that I would get a picture of me actually handing it to him later.
And I've already asked them to be sure that he gets them out when I give it to you. Well, Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good.
that concludes the celebrations.
Well, I'd say that was two very good ones. All right, Mr. Patrick, comments from patrons? All right, thank you. Okay, Bambi, let the minutes show that we have an established quorum, and the first item will be to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of July 14th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, we'll go to reports, and Mr. Wiggins.
Yes, sir. I would like to report on a successful start to the 2022-23 school year. Yesterday was an exciting day to have kids back in the halls. A lot of kids, by the way. And last week we had open houses at every building. I was at almost every building. I think I missed one of them. But it was great to have parents back in the schools, and had a lot of positive comments both from open houses and our first day yesterday. And so I'm excited that we are back in school. Our enrollment, I texted each of you individually and told you that our enrollment yesterday was up. It's hard to get an exact figure right now. It's going to fluctuate daily, but the number I gave you yesterday, we are approximately 180 up from the first day last year and from the second day last year. So 180 is significant across the district. That would represent about a 4% increase. That's bigger than we've had in a long, long time. So if that holds true over the next couple of weeks, then that would be a significant factor moving forward as far as staffing. And in fact, that leads me into another part. Currently, it appears as though we may need to add a kindergarten teacher. We're going to let that settle a little bit here the next few days and see. But current enrollment would suggest that we needed to add another kindergarten teacher to stay within the legal limits. And you all have actually already approved some positions in a previous board meeting just in case. So if we have to do that, we will go ahead and start interviews and get someone hired as quickly as possible. We're going to let that settle a little bit here the next few days and see. But current enrollment would suggest that we needed to add another kindergarten teacher to stay within the legal limits. And you all have actually already approved some positions in a previous board meeting just in case. So if we have to do that, we will go ahead and start interviews and get someone hired as quickly as possible. you should have received, board members should have received an email from Arkansas School Board Association about the Fall Leadership Conference, which is September the 22nd in Rogers in person. That's the Northwest Arkansas version of it. I am planning on going. I think Audra has committed that she wants to go. And if you all want to go to that, it's a 6-hour credit for training. And so that would, I'm not sure that any of you really need hours, but that would take care of your hours for this year if you did need any. And just let Bambi know, and she will make the registrations, and we'll make travel arrangements over there. I had mentioned to you previously that we might need a special board meeting in the next week or two. We are opening bids for the administration building on Thursday. Is that correct? Okay. On Thursday, and after bids are opened, Milestone, Michael, and we will need some time for vetting those bids and making sure that they're all good, qualified bids. And sometime next week, perhaps, would be ideal, so that we can, if we get that guaranteed maximum price approved, then we could get people out there moving dirt very quickly while we have dry weather and summer weather.
25th would be the first day we'd be ready to present that.
25th, which would be Thursday. So we would be looking at Thursday or Friday of next week, or even into the first of that next week. So Bambi will get back with you to see about open. We might do that after the meeting tonight if you all have time to kind of coalesce around a date. Okay, that concludes my report.
Well, all right. And we'll say welcome back to being here in person.
Yes, thank you. It's good to be back.
Wasn't it last month?
Yes, sir. I was on video last week, or last month.
And then some other time too, wasn't it? I can't remember. Okay, so, Amy Carter's report?
Amy is not here this evening, so we are skipping her report tonight.
Kind of what I assumed. Mr. Patrick?
Got a couple of things I want to cover real quick this evening. First, state law mandates and our school board policy also mandates that we give a report each year after we complete a school year. We need to give a report up to the board on bullying in our schools. And so at this time, I would like to be able to give that report. I wanted to make sure and be clear and define what bullying is for our board and our constituents. A lot of bullying has become a phrase that is thrown around a lot by a lot of different people. And the law is very clear on, and our policy is very clear on what things are bullying and what's not. So when it was brought to me by a patron in our community that they wondered if these were accurate numbers based on what they hear about, and what the thing that I assured them was that there's a lot of things that happen in schools that people say, well, he's bullying me or she's bullying me. But when you get down and look at it, it's really harassment, or it's inappropriate behavior, or it's a whole number of other things that go on, and it's not necessarily classified as bullying. And so I have a copy of our bullying policy that I wanted to pass out to everybody here, and I put some in the back. Right towards the top is a definition.
Thank you.
There's several definitions in it, but there's some key points, and I'm not going to read this whole policy to you. There's some key points that have to happen for something to be bullying. One is has to be an intentional act. It could be harassment, intimidation, humiliation, ridicule. It has to be something intentional. It also has to cause or create an actual or reasonable foreseeable either harm to somebody, a substantial interference to the educational process, or even a staff member's process in the role of education. It has to create a hostile education environment for at least one student or more, or adult, and it has to be a substantial disruption of the orderly operation of the school or educational environment. But the other thing that is really important to point out is the fact it has to be a pattern of behavior. So one single act that one child does to another child, or an adult does to another adult, however you want to look at that, a person, it does not constitute bullying. It needs to be a pattern of behavior. So if it's a single act, it tends to go under harassment. It could be under inappropriate behavior. It can be classified as different things. It doesn't mean it's not dealt with, but it won't be reflected in our numbers here this evening. And then you'll see they give all kinds of examples of different things, but as it says in the policy, it is not limited to these things. So it could be everything from cyberbullying, which has a whole different classification of stuff, and it gives a lot of examples there. So does anybody have any questions about that before what's considered bullying and what's not considered bullying, before I kind of give our numbers to the board? Okay, so you have the report, and I apologize, there's 2 typo errors in your sheet that went out. First, it says 2021 at the top. I made a copy of last year's report and deleted everything but that. And then I think under the high school, it left a blank under number of instances confirmed, and I will give those to you in a second. So this year at Northside, we're required to track alleged bullying. So we had 3 instances of alleged bullying when they were investigated. None were found to be factual. Now, remember where we're at, Northside's kindergarten, that those little small lower grades are not as apt to have this. We had 1 alleged incident at Allen with no confirmed cases. Southside had 5 with no cases. Now, as you get into older intermediate, we start having more numbers. We had 24 alleged incidences. 8 of those were confirmed to fall under the bullying policy. And then middle school, there were 29 alleged cases. 13 of those were determined to be confirmed. High school had 25 alleged. In your blank, there were 17 confirmed of the 25 cases. Main Street Academy had 2 alleged and no confirmed, and Virtual Academy had no alleged and no confirmed. And so at the bottom of your documents, you will see the totals of the discipline taken for all of those. So it ranged everything from a verbal warning to all the way up to expulsion. We had no expulsions last year due to bullying, but we did have 4 out-of-school suspensions, 20 in-school suspensions, 11 warning with a no contact contract. What that is they administrators sit down with the 2 students, they sign an agreement where they're not going to have anything to do with each other anymore. And then 3 verbal warnings. Does anybody have any questions about those numbers? So to give you some perspective, this is district-wide. This is not broken down by building. But district-wide last year, we had 23 confirmed cases of harassment that could have been somebody said they're bullying and it actually is harassment. And then we also had 227 inappropriate behaviors. Now that's a wide range. I just want to point out that wouldn't all be considered that inappropriate behavior. It has a big wide view that it covers. But I do know that a lot of our administrators, when talking to them, some of the things that happen that people get upset about and say he's bullying me or she's bullying me, it's really just inappropriate behavior. And so they classified that and goes on. So I really want to praise our administrative teams. They work really hard to stamp out this stuff. And our policy allows us to deal with stuff, even if it happens off campus, if it affects the on-school site. So it affects the learning process. And they spend hours and hours tracking stuff down from time to time when it comes up to make sure that we don't have this going on in our buildings. Obviously, anytime we have over 4,000 kids in our district, we're going to have some of this, but they do a really good job of keeping it as low as possible. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
This document you speak of, Where is this? Y'all have it?
The what document?
With the numbers and
Did we
stuff?
not put this in your board packet? I thought it was in your board packet.
Should be in the report section.
Yes. On your, electronically.
We might need a tutorial. On the device, where to find that.
I need this spreadsheet. Don't have it. I will make sure, I know Ms. Bandy will
Financials, there's not.
make sure we'll get this to you. I apologize.
Was it in the agenda?
No, it was,
That might be this Chromebook causing me problems.
let me just make you a copy real quick.
Would y'all like us to make you a copy right now?
Oh, she will.
Ms. Bandy.
She's already on it.
Any other questions right now while you're getting those copies?
You may not have the data, but you spoke about 227 inappropriate behaviors in the last year. Do you track that, like, is it improved over the year prior, or do you know that?
That's actually about, I mean, it's not exact, but when I look back, it's not a whole lot different than it's been. That's pretty common that we deal with. And I will tell you, most of that is intermediate, middle school, and high school. We don't have near as many of those type of stuff that goes on at the lower grade levels, but the vast majority come at the intermediate age and then up. But just for comparison, district-wide on tardies, we had 1,351 tardies in the district last year. I know that is, our administrative team has talked about that, and they're working, they're coming up with different ways to try to limit those numbers. But when you look at things like that, we have inappropriate behavior is one of our largest numbers when you look at the different discipline codes that get put in the system. Any other questions while y'all are looking through that? Okay. All right, second thing I want to do is give a real quick update. We kind of, Mr. Wiggins alluded to it a little bit ago, but I've got Scott and Mike here, our design team, and we have bids out. They should be, probably are getting a few in this week, but they will all be in on Thursday. We will open bids on Thursday. Mr. Wiggins and I'll probably both of us be over there at that, and we'll start de-scoping and looking through that and trying to put together the packages, who gets what based on what the prices are and what their experience level is. We want to really make sure and do a good job at looking at not only price at what these come in at so they can give us a quality price as a guaranteed maximum price, but we want to make sure that our subcontractors can actually do the work that they're saying they're going to do. So we will go through all of that, and it'll take about a week to de-scope, and then we would be ready starting on the 24th whenever you guys wanted to get back together to be able to present that to you. My understanding is that over 2,000 invitations were sent to bid to all the different trades to go into building this project. So we look forward to, having some competition. We've had a few contractors that have called and said they're too busy, they're not going to bid, but I think we have a really good selection of people in most of the trades that we'll be able to have a selection to choose from. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. And then Ms. Tiffany Hanson is going to come up, and she's going to give you kind of a year in review of our Panther Health and Wellness, of what they did and the services that they provided over the last school year. And so I'll turn it over to her.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Tiffany Hansen, coordinator for Panther Health and Wellness Clinic and Bright Futures. I appreciate the opportunity to share tonight about the services that we provide to students. Can everybody hear me okay? Mm-hmm. Great. Well, I always look forward to just sharing about some of the great things that are happening for students within the services that we provide. And just wanted to give you an idea of what we're doing on a daily basis and how we are serving students. So Panther Health and Wellness Clinic, we are located at the intermediate school building, but we do serve all campuses pre-K through 12th grade. And we are open 8:30 to 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. We provide medical services to students, behavioral health services to students, and we also do some other wraparound services, which would include mentoring services as well as Bright Future services, which provide for student basic needs. So I just want to kind of give you a quick snapshot of those services and then give you some highlights from this past year. We partner with Community Clinic. They provide all of our medical services. They staff the clinic with an APRN and an MA. And they operate just like any other clinic you would probably go to in our community. You schedule by appointment for the most part. We do work very hard though to prioritize students and staff and teachers. So if it's in the middle of a day and they have a full schedule, but we get a call about a student needing acute medical help, we will do our very best to work them in and get them in that same day. Our goal is to make sure that students are seen in a timely manner. Also, that helps with reducing absenteeism and tardiness and getting them to the clinic and back within a school day's time. Not only allows them to be in the classroom more, but it also allows our parents to not maybe have to miss work to get them to and from where they need to go for these services. But we provide acute services, so sick appointments. We also do sports physicals, immunizations, well child checks, and we also provide chronic care. I think one of the great things about the medical services is that we do serve both insured and uninsured patients, and that also means that they have a patient advocate available to help families who are not insured to go through the enrollment process with Medicaid. So that's another service available to any of our families so that they can hopefully at that point then get the insurance that they would need to continue services. One of the highlights from this past year is that this was actually, if you look at our data since our opening, this is our 7th year. This was every quarter we exceeded any other quarter ever in the history of the clinic. And so we topped out at serving almost 900 students this past year, which this past quarter alone, total patients, we served over 800 patients just this last quarter. That includes both adults, because we do see family members, staff, we also see community members. But overall, the clinic has been very busy this year. So we also provide, on our next slide, we also provide behavioral health, mental health services. And we're happy to have a partnership and have somebody representing a therapist there from Ozark Guidance, which they also serve our students throughout all of our campuses. But we also have an in-district mental health therapist who serves our students. It's a really nice pairing, and as I'm sure a lot of you know, our mental health needs for our students have increased quite dramatically over the last year and a half. So we have OGC there to provide services, but we also have Abby Poteet, who provides services to students and she focuses on students who would be kind of falling through the gaps because of insurance's reasons and inability to get services otherwise. So it works really nicely to have those both available and for students to be able to be seen in a timely manner. And just to highlight from these services for this past year is that during this last school year, Ozark Guidance Therapists provided over 4,700 hours of services to students in our district. That's district-wide. And then again, we also have some more availability to serve those students who would not be able to receive services due to insurance reasons, with adding Abby into the team. One of the things we look at as far as how can we maybe even be proactive in working with our students, so that maybe a student, if they just need that one positive caring adult in their life to help them, They might not get to the point where mental health services are needed or in a grave situation. And so mentoring is a great way to interact and get involved in a student's life where they might just need some encouragement and somebody to kind of listen to them. And so Big Brothers Big Sisters is a partner of ours as well, and they are housed at the clinic. And this year, we've had to change it up because of COVID, and there's been some limitations, but this year we will be providing programming for both students at Southside Elementary and at the middle school. And then I just wanted to highlight, because I know the transportation department works tirelessly for us and with us, and we very much appreciate their mindset of just doing what's best for kids and helping us get our kiddos to and from school buildings and to and from the clinic. And so we provide, the district provides transportation services. And so over this past year, they did over approximately 900 runs to and from the clinic, driving over 5,000 miles to help students receive the services of the clinic. So.
And I would like to add right there, Tina Thurman does 95 to 99% of all of those, and she does it with a smile on her face. Those kids know she cares about them. She does a wonderful job, and we appreciate what they do. And she sent me her list, and she had just under 900 runs herself, and we had a few other people helping her out at different times. So it's a really good service we provide our families.
Thank you. And then lastly, I just wanted to highlight Bright Futures. If you haven't heard about Bright Futures, hopefully you'll be encouraged after tonight. Bright Futures is a nonprofit organization that is facilitated and supported by our district. We are one of about 50 affiliates across the nation, and just most recently, the Arkansas Department of Education has been speaking to districts all across the state, and they have really been encouraging them to adopt an affiliate or involvement from a Bright Futures or another organization called Every Arkansan. They've been noticing that the tremendous impact that a nonprofit or services like Bright Futures can have in students' lives, and how they can really intervene and maybe just meet a kiddo where they're at and help them get what they need, just so they have that extra support. And so we're proud to be one of the veterans, I guess, in the state when it comes to that. And so just a quick review about what we do at Bright Futures. We work closely with school counselors. We work closely with school nurses and administrators. We know that those are the boots on the ground. They're going to be seeing the need. And so we have an internal form that can be filled out when they see a need that a student has for a basic need. A lot of times that might be a pair of shoes, it might be clothing, it might be food. They might, be a student living in transition somehow and just needing some basic items to be able to succeed in the classroom. This past year, we actually, I don't know why exactly, but there was a need for several families to have beds. Some different situations were happening. Some of them were transient situations, and some of them were just unable to supply them. Well, we know the statistics, I'm sure everybody here could probably tell you better than I could, about how well a student can perform with lack of sleep, or cannot perform in the classroom with lack of sleep. And some of the behaviors and situations that can be occurred when students aren't getting sleep at night. And so we became aware of these needs through our school counselors, and we worked with our community partners, and that might be anyone from a business organization, from a civic organization, from a church, from just individuals who say, hey, I want to help. So we were able to step in those situations, and for every student who needed a bed, we were able to provide one for them. So that's one way that we can see a need, and it might not fit necessarily into something we would typically do, but we will absolutely do what we can, because we want our students to have what they need, and sleep included, to be successful in the classroom. And so as you can see, I do apologize, I did not bring a report, but I'm happy to add it in later if that's a possibility. But we have one of the things I think is just, I feel most privileged about being a part of this organization is how much our community here in Siloam Springs comes together to make sure that our students are taken care of. And it doesn't really take, you could come to one of our events. We had our backpack and supply distribution last week. If you came to that event, you would see that in action because we had volunteers from our district, teachers, counselors, central office folks. We had church group members, we had civic group members, we had JBU folks here, we had other organizations. Manna Center was present, our food and services department participated. We had just everybody coming together, and that's what's really neat about it when you can see that happening. So we do some events where we take care of our students for those needs that we know are kind of maybe in a bigger, they're more necessary for a lot of students. So like our backpack distribution, we this year provided close to 900 and counting, honestly, which is about 250 higher than any year before. So we're seeing needs increase greatly. This summer we did our snack pack program. We do that over the summer, and we exceeded our numbers. We actually ran out almost every week because we saw the need just increasing from our parents and families. So we provide food before any school break, and that's for our students who we know might be going home and they might have some food insecurities, and they get a little their anxiety or a little have a little bit of trepidation about going home because they're not sure where their lunch is going to come from or their breakfast is going to come from. So we have big food distributions before any of those breaks as well, just so those students can count on. We try to focus on something that a third grader could make themselves if mom and dad are at work all day and they don't know or have access to food. So those are just some of the things we're doing. Again, this is a volunteer-based organization, and so that's the beauty of it, is everybody coming together to serve our students. So are there any questions?
If somebody asks how to become part of this or whatever, how do you go about doing that?
So one of the easiest, I was going to say one of the easiest ways is to just give us a message on Facebook. We definitely respond to those and can interact with people that way and give them information. But you can also email or give us a call at the clinic, and we can respond to that as well. The one thing I forgot to mention, but this made me think of, is really any parent can reach out to Bright Futures at any point as well. Our district has on our siloamschools.com front page a family needs request, and all a parent has to do is click on that form and fill out a little bit of information that helps us know what they're needing, and we respond to them as usually within a day's time, and we work with them. And even if it's not something that Bright Futures has and typically helps with, we at least can resource them out through our other nonprofit organizations in the community and our partnerships to help them try to get what they need. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you can see Tiffany's heart in her message and her desire to serve our school district and our kids. And you know, about a decade ago, there was a push nationally for schools to start serving the whole child rather than just the academic portion of our children. And so out of that push, there are a lot of wraparound services that Siloam Springs School District jumped into. From having one of the first school-based health centers to one of the first Bright Futures programs in the state of Arkansas. And we are doing a lot of things outside of the academic realm to help our kids. Because if their basic needs are not served, then we are not going to have success academically. And so I appreciate Tiffany. I appreciate everything that happens at Panther Health and Wellness Center, and she is in charge of some special programs. Thank you, Tiffany.
I'll also say that it's a great avenue for the students to go and learn to volunteer.
Yes.
They take on a lot of students, and it's a great place for them to start that practice.
Yep. Okay.
I was going to say tonight the volleyball team that's where I was half of the U.S. They're doing a donation drive for Bright Futures for their Women's Great Night. So we definitely have a lot of involvement from our athletes, and it's a service learning opportunity. So a lot of them want to give back for the volleyball. So
Thank you. Does that conclude your report, sir?
Yes, sir.
We shall move to action items now, and first up is Perry with July financials.
I love July. There's never a whole lot to report in July. We don't have budgets set. I have budget meetings scheduled all week next week with this lovely group of people. So the budgeting process for this coming school year will start next week. Still wrapping up last year. I have to have that completed and submitted to the state by August 31st. So it's been a little hectic, but it always is this time of year. A funny thing, if you look at your graph, you will think I forgot to put in the red line. It's that little bitty red dot on top of the first. We actually have received more money in July this year than we did last year by about $107,000. So, honestly, don't have much to report, but if you have any questions, let me know.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Summer hiring.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Thank you.
Again, it's been hectic. We're still hiring. Lots of people need to come in. We've got lots of new students, so we had lots of extra folks coming in to help us a couple weeks before school started, and that's what's on this list. If you would approve that, that would be great.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have a resolution for Mr. Lloyd and alternative design.
Yes, sir. And Grant, you might want to go get a drink. Excuse yourself for a few minutes. So under state ethics law for school board members and administrators, if we are going to contract with a board member who has an interest in a company, if we were going to contract with that company, we have to approve that by the board, and if it's over a certain amount, it has to go to the Department of Education and be signed off by the Commissioner of Education. And so we have a couple of these tonight. First off is Alternative Design Manufacturing, and Grant has excused himself because he is owner and president of Alternative Design. On occasion, we have a need for his services or their services. They provide custom metalworking, and so if we need an example, if we need a stainless steel sink for an art room that's going to cover a large area along with the stainless steel countertop, that's something that they can come out, measure, do in their shop locally, and provide us a custom piece for. Or another example, this was before he was a board member, but all of the custom metalworking at the stadium, the cutouts along the fence of the Panthers, the benches along the edges, and some of the railings were made at Alternative Design. And so we have some specific custom things that we need done occasionally that we ask Alternative Design to do because they do a good job. They're local, and it's hard to bid a custom project. So I'm going to request that you all approve a resolution to give us the option of contracting with Alternative Design on those types of projects. And this will be in it's an estimate of what might take place over the course of a year. And for this one, we are estimating up to $40,000 total. And because of that amount, if it's over $10,000, we are supposed to send it to the Department of Ed, and the commissioner has to sign off on it before we can actually do that. So I'm asking you all to approve the resolution tonight, and then we will finish the process and send it to the Department of Education and see if Mr. Key will sign off on it for us.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right.
Okay.
Looks like next is
I'm going to ask Grant to come back in, and Mr. Lamb will excuse himself.
It was approved.
So this is the same type of resolution for contracting with Harps. Brian is the manager at our local Harps. And so this is up to $50,000 over the course of a year. And we use Harps for a variety of things, just as we use other grocers in the area for a variety of needs, whether it's serving food at a luncheon, whether it's our cafeteria, purchasing bread. Elizabeth's shaking her head. We purchase a lot of bread from Harps, and that's because we get the best price there. Right? And so we have a variety of needs that we actually use Harps for, and so this one will also have to go to the Arkansas Department of Education for approval. I would ask that you all approve this resolution for doing business with Harps.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I think I just took that from you. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
You got it done. We approved it.
Do what?
We approved it.
Well, okay. Glad you continue working with the school district.
And the last of these, I said it was the ethics laws for board members and administrators. Kelly Meeker is a new administrator at our high school. She is a new assistant principal. And in the past, she has worked for Arkansas Ames. And Arkansas Ames is a company that we contract out with for professional development for AP teachers, advanced placement teachers. And they do a very good job for us. And Kelly has actually since resigned. Kelly is not here, but Kelly has since resigned from that position. She was working part-time for them and providing professional development. But because she is an administrator now and we will continue to work with Ames, hopefully, we are asking you to approve this resolution that we can continue working with Arkansas Ames.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, a tuition agreement. For
Is it NTI?
NTI, right?
Yes. So Northwest Technical Institute is in Springdale, and they run some satellite programs in a variety of places. We have some students occasionally that will sign up to take classes through NWTI. Currently, I asked I asked Luke today, he's not here, don't tell him that I said that. I asked Luke today to give me a number of students at the high school who are currently signed up for NWTI classes. And the number as of right now is 5, and he said that will fluctuate this first week as they come and go. But we don't have a whole lot that take advantage, mainly because of distance and time to travel. But we have some, and this says tuition agreement. But the tuition agreement is actually that we're going to send students if they request to go, and that the Northwest Technical Institute will be paid the tuition from the Department of Education. So the money doesn't actually come from us. It comes from the Technical Center Fund at ADE, but we have to sign we need to approve the tuition agreement to allow them to bill the Arkansas Department of Education for our students coming to take those classes. So I would request that you approve this tuition agreement with Northwest Technical Institute.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Proposed classified personnel policy changes?
At our last board meeting, you all made a proposal to our classified PPC to change a policy, and it is a raise for our substitute teachers, our guest teachers, and a change in how we pay certified staff members who are driving a bus on a trip. And that has become an issue because we needed more certified people to drive this past year as we ran low on bus drivers, and we are still under that condition. This doesn't give them more money, but it corrects an issue we might have had with audit on time, their time teaching and their time driving. So instead of paying them for a trip, driving a football trip to Southside, as we did tonight, instead of paying them for their time, we are going to pay by the length of the trip. And that gets us around some problems that we were going to have. This does not pay them any more than they, in fact, in general, it's very similar to what they would have been paid on time, or what a bus driver would have, a non-certified bus driver would have been paid on time, but it keeps us out of some audit issues with timesheets. So that's the second part of it. The first part of it was daily pay for subs across the district or guest teachers. You all had approved that to go to the PPC last month. PPC received those changes. John Blair is president of our classified PPC. He was unable to be here tonight, but he asked me to tell you on behalf of him. He was able to reach 5 of the other members. One member was no longer with us. She's left the district, but those 5 were all in agreement unanimously that this should go forward. So now it comes back to you all to approve as an official policy.
Motion to approve. Second.
Can we get a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, now we'll do School Resource Officer Memorandum of Understanding.
So we have been doing a memorandum of understanding with the city for our SROs for a long time, a decade or more probably. Officer Sally, when he was here, and I actually were the ones that wrote this originally. It is now state law, as of this year, it is now state law that every district have a memorandum of understanding with the city or the entity that they are partnering with for SRO coverage. This is the same memorandum of understanding as last year. The only difference is the salaries of the officers, and those have increased because several of them have gotten promotions. And then there is a possibility of the city giving an increase in salary. It's interesting when we do this because the school district runs on a July to June year for their budget, and the city runs on a January to December year. So we're overlapping each other halfway each year. So they have to predict out or look out and give us an estimate of what January through June of next year is going to look like for their salary. So we actually have it built in here where if there's any discrepancy, we settle up at the end of the year one way or the other. This MOU has not changed, and we talked about SRO coverage in our work session last week. And I know you all had some concerns about numbers and adding, and we can have that conversation. As far as this MOU goes, I would recommend that we go ahead and approve this MOU so that we actually have school resource officers in our buildings at the beginning of the year here, and we have an understanding of what that looks like and how it's going to work. And then if there are some changes that need to come, we will revise this as we go. So I would recommend that we approve this tonight.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? There you go, sir. That's very important.
So on that topic.
Yes, sir.
We want to talk about coming up with a plan to get officers on all campuses, and what would that look like? And I know our budget, we talked about on that, and what the city could do. You know, this is a community-wide deal,
Right.
Not just a school deal. It's protecting the students. So we'd like to see what we could do, work out with the city and the police department to come up with a plan. And then how long would it take on, or what's the process for onboarding?
For
bringing on a new officer, training?
they have I'm trying to go from memory here from what I've heard in conversations with Chief and with Philip. But I think there's about a 10 to 12 week onboarding process if it's a new officer trying to learn RPD systems, computer terminology, all of those things. And then outfitting a vehicle all of those things probably in that 10 to 12 week range. So if it's a brand new officer, that's probably the transition time before they could actually be on board with us. If it was a current officer, it would be quicker than that, obviously. The problem with that is I think that they are currently looking for officers, for beat officers. So I think there would be some real hesitancy in trying to transfer somebody that's already on the force without having a replacement. I have had some initial conversations, and I think that the city is willing to work with us. I don't know about what their budget looks like and their capability within their budget, but they are willing to work with us and work toward the goal of putting someone, an SRO at every campus. In lieu of that, if we can't get to that point, we could also, as a school district, consider certified school safety officers. There's a process for that and a law in place that allows us to do that. We would need to do some homework on that if we were going to go that direction, about what that looks like, how they work with the school district, how they work with the police department, and get some things in writing on that. I do think the city is willing, not just willing, I think the city is, I won't speak for the board, but I think the city administration is willing to work with us with the goal of putting an officer at each campus. I'm not sure what that timeline would look like.
I know the challenge is to definitely prefer officers for a variety of reasons versus the other option.
Yes.
Okay.
And I said this last week. I think if we compare our school district to most around us and even across the state, I think if you compare a ratio of number of SROs to the number of campuses, we actually we're above the norm. I think we are far above the norm. There are just now some school districts that I've seen in the paper the last few weeks that are talking about one per building and trying to transition to that. And they're having the same challenges we are. But there are also some going the CSSO route. I don't know if my preference would be SROs, but if we need to look at those other options, we can do that.
Any other questions or conversation on that? All right. That brings us to the executive session. So we will take a short break.
of this. It's 38 with consequences. Was there any change?
Better start bringing a jacket.
It was getting steamy in here earlier, so
Well,
I put
it's
it
not
down a
now.
degree. Sorry.
All right, we'll call ourselves back into open session and resignations.
We have 4 late resignations to consider. Allison Carter, high school AP physics teacher, computer science teacher, and engineering teacher. Howard Sims, grades 3 through 5 ALE teacher. Zach King, middle school English language arts, and Carrie Brown, high school medical professions. Recommend that we accept these 4 resignations.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hire some staff?
And the good news is we have 3 of those 4 spots filled with a plan, hopefully, for the other one. So we have 7 to hire this evening. Megan Rogers, Allen first grade teacher. Bailey Maccabee, second grade teacher at Allen. Christina Conley, math interventionist at Allen. Christina Panate, third grade literacy and social studies at Southside. Mary Elizabeth Dawkins, middle school English language arts. Brian Morseman, high school engineering as a part-time teacher. Cassie Keene, high school medical professions. Would recommend that we hire those 7 spots.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Emergency sick leave?
None at this time.
Student transfers into the district?
We have several, 11. From Springdale, Cash Burks, age 5. From Gentry, Taylor Brigantz, age 17. Bianca Underwood, age 12. Elena Alarcon, age 9. Elizabeth Hernandez, age 5. Malachi Pierce, age 8. Faith Miranda, 15. Rhett Johnson, age 4. Madeline Melberger, age 14. Jake Melberger, age 15. And Alea Favela, age 9. I would recommend that we accept those 11 transfers in.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Transfer out.
Have several out to multiple places. To Decatur, Marco Rodriguez, age 17. Gilberto Ruby, age 15. To Prairie Grove, Kason Pershaw, age 17. To Gentry, Abry Van Kuren, age 14. Javen Hutchick, age 9. Sophia Duran and Stephen Duran, ages 10 and 8. Deleza Mercurio, age 6. Levi Ponder, age 6. And then to Springdale, Connor Dixon, age 16. Would recommend that we approve those transfers out.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that brings us to other business.
And we have just a little bit of other. To start with, we have a subcontract agreement with Christy Brown for therapy. Shauna, is this speech? Is Shauna? No, Shauna's not here tonight. Okay. Yes, this is speech therapy, and we are still a little bit short on speech therapy, so we are asking to be able to contract out with Christy Brown to help us with some specific children in that area. Would recommend that we approve this subcontract.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
And then I have some transfers, classified transfers, resignations, and hires. Transfers, Marla Moore is going from Northside Literacy Interventionist. This is a certified transfer, and she is moving to Allen as Literacy Interventionist. Hannah Martin is moving from Southside third grade teacher to Northside kindergarten. Classified transfers, Mike Hodge from bus driver to transportation technician at the bus garage. Liz Fuentes at the high school is moving from attendance administrative assistant to the front office administrative assistant when Cheryl leaves. I hadn't told you that Cheryl's leaving yet, but I will. Madison Boyd is moving from kindergarten through second ALE paraprofessional to Allen Discovery paraprofessional. That's gifted and talented. Classified resignations: Julie Roy from food service, Rachel McIntosh, food service, Kara Noble, district technology administrative assistant, Kristen McRee, Northside pre-K paraprofessional, Cheryl Rakestraw, high school administrative assistant at front office, Tiffany Bowles, GT and ESL and nursing administrative assistant, Greg Island from district technology, Michael Pruitt, transportation bus driver, Brenda Eagle, transportation PM bus driver. And classified hires: Anna Miramontes, Northside kindergarten paraprofessional, Andrea Mullen, Northside library media center assistant, Macy Vasquez, Northside pre-K para, Amber McCulley, Northside pre-K para, Mary Harveston, Northside pre-K para, Lacey Van Dyke, Southside special ed para, Angel Roman, high school special ed para, Mariah Belmore, ALE paraprofessional, Diana Rivas, ALE paraprofessional, and Michaela Thompson, Main Street Academy, classroom paraprofessional, Jody Ramsey, Allen special ed para, and Gail Holman, ALE para. Ooh,
Mercy.
that was a bunch. So that we have done a lot of hiring in the last little bit to try to get everybody in place for the start of school.
Good job.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Good.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Before we adjourn, I think we need to thank all the administrators, principals, and everybody for all the hard work you guys have been doing the last couple of months, filling these spots and getting us ready for school. We appreciate it very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor of adjourned? Aye. Opposed? Are you opposed?
No.
All right.